Boruto Tubu Vortex Volume 6 is going to release early this month. I have every volume that released so far, and most volumes have exclusive info regarding something about the manga that sometimes is very interesting. The cover of this manga was Sarada. This is actually the second time she got featured on a volume cover, because if you remember, she was also on the cover of the second volume of Tubu Vortex. She was also on the cover of Chapter 2 and Chapter 21. So Sarada is featured on covers pretty often in this series. It just goes to show how important Ikemoto is trying to make her out to be in the story. It couldn't be more obvious. Even characters like Sasuke and Kashin Koji emphasize Sarada's importance in the story. Multiple times, I might add. So it only makes sense that she has one of the most broken abilities. And that's actually what we're going to be talking about today, because Volume 6 gave us a more clear understanding on Sarada's new Ohirume ability. There was a lot of new interesting information in the new volume, so I highly recommend you guys pick it up when it comes out. It's set to come out on October 3rd, so who knows, probably by the time you're watching this video, it'll already be out. I might leave the link to buy it in the description below, so go check it out. But anyway, in this volume, we got some more info on her new MS ability. Now, we have yet to see Sarada's left eye ability, because remember, the Mangekyou Sharingan comes with two abilities, just like Itachi's Amaterasu or Tsukiyomi, or Sasuke's Amaterasu and Kagetsuchi, which is basically the ability to manipulate those flames, so you could just call it flame control. So we have yet to see that from Sarada. I heard some people say her left eye's ability might be Amaterasu, and I heard some people say it might be something different. I personally don't think it's Amaterasu. I believe it's something tied into Ohirume. Maybe something gravity based, but that's soon to be revealed. So just a quick recap on what Ohirume is. This power basically allows Sarada to create and manipulate black holes or black sun-like orbs with immense gravitational force. She can use these orbs to absorb any physical attack thrown at her. As you can see on the screen, she's absorbing Ryu's iron sand. It's made of physical matter, so therefore Ohirume would have no problem sucking it up. She can also mass produce these orbs to give her a great advantage in battle. So at the current point in time, her limit is about 4 of these orbs. This can probably change over time as she gets better with her eye's ability or becomes more powerful overall, but 4 is a pretty good starting point for her. The way she uses it already is that of a pro. You can see, she's able to redirect attacks by choosing which orb absorbs the physical attack. She uses this method against Ryu when he tries to manipulate the sand so that it would get absorbed with Sarada in its direct path. So that's very useful when going up against enemies that can manipulate the surrounding area to their benefit. She can also manipulate the gravitational target of these orbs, focusing all of its gravity pull on a specific target. And if you have no way of escaping or manipulating your own density, you'll easily become a victim to the implosion that she can perform using these orbs. So this is the information we had just based off what was shown to us during Sarada vs Ryu. But more information was provided in the new volume. So it appears that Sarada can alter the size of these orbs, which can range from anywhere between 5 to 250 centimeters, which converted into feet is 8 feet long. So she can alter its size from barely a few inches to 8 whole feet. And of course the gravitational pull is proportional to its mass. So this is very important because stronger enemies might require more gravitational force for it to work on them. And the size of an enemy matters too. So just for a quick reference, obviously it would take more force to pull a grown man around 210 pounds than it would for a kid around 90 pounds. And I'll only say this because if Sarada would try to actually fight someone like Daemon, the size of the orb would definitely matter. There's a good chance Ohirume wouldn't even work on someone as broken as Daemon, but against foes that would be vulnerable to this ability, then the size and density of these orbs matter greatly. I'm gonna go more into depth about whether this would matter in a fight against Daemon shortly, but there is something even more exciting to talk about first. So as we all thought, the target of this strong gravitational force is based on her gaze, which means whatever she wants to pull, she has to be looking at for it to work. I think this could be good and it could be bad, because once caught, it's nearly impossible to escape this gravitational pull or free yourself. As we could see, even Ryu was helpless against this. He even tried to pull himself back down using his iron sand, but the pull was way too strong to even hold him for a second. And don't forget, Ryu has access to the claw marks, which allows him instantaneous teleportation, but even he wasn't able to use it because the force was just too strong. So she's able to halt all body movement instantly because of this attack. Now the downside to this is, basically if her opponent is faster than she's able to perceive, then this ability could quickly become a handicap in a fight. It's very similar to how Amaterasu works. Sometimes it misses because of the pure speed of an opponent, and the chakra needed to even produce these flames still get expended. So it still burns chakra even if you do or don't hit your target. And it states directly in the volume, Ohirume burns an excessive amount of chakra to perform. From the ending of Sarada's fight against Ryu, she completely passed out from exhaustion, and I'm talking immediately after she defeated him. She only had produced 4 orbs, but even to produce 4 of these things takes a lot of chakra. I mean, it just so happens that Ryu was able to be defeated with just 4 orbs, but fighting an even stronger enemy, maybe someone like Jura, would very likely cause her to expend even more chakra using more orbs. And if she can't hit him because of his speed, then she'll be drained of chakra and left wide open for an attack. So it's not something she can simply spam or use unwisely at all. She can even go blind from its overusage, just like any other MS user in the past, which was also confirmed by Ikemoto. So an eternal Mangekyou Sharingan for Sarada could be needed if she's not careful. I don't think she'll go blind as quick as Sasuke, but over the years she'll have to be very conscious about this. Because if someone's not there to just tell her that she can go blind from using the MS, then she might accidentally overuse it. Now, where would she get that extra set of eyes? I don't think that's known as of yet, because the only other person who possesses a Sharingan is Sasuke, and he's stuck in the tree, so we don't know. I could possibly end up making a video on that specifically sometime in the future, but let's talk a little bit more about the downside of this ability. We can see when Daemon blitzed her and Sumire, she was able to keep up with his movements, but it wasn't fast enough to where she could react before he grabbed onto both of their necks. This shows us the clear gap between Sarada's physical ability and Daemon's, and the gap is even larger when we look at Sumire, because she wasn't even looking in the right direction. She didn't even comprehend what had just happened yet, because her body is not adept to perceiving movement of this level. And this is something that is pretty consistent in this manga. We see another example of this when Boruto came to save Konohamaru from Matsuri. When he arrived, all eyes were on Boruto, but before Matsuri was even able to finish saying his name, he already blitzed and destroyed her for good. And you can see on the screen right here, Konohamaru is still looking in the direction where Boruto initially came from. So in this moment, Boruto moved so fast that Konohamaru, a seasoned Jonin, wasn't able to properly follow his movements. And I do believe that Sarada's ability to perceive information at a high speed is greater than Konohamaru's because of her Sharingan. So the fact that Daemon was just able to get behind her so easily is a clear indication that Daemon, if he went all out, could easily outspeed even Boruto. But yeah, getting back into focus, against someone that is faster than Sarada, the ability probably wouldn't be the best choice because of the immense chakra consumption it requires. Now, the last ability I want to mention is about Sarada's ability to hover mid-air. Yeah, this specific ability was emphasized in the volume also. It said that she can skillfully operate the 4 spears to freely hover in mid-air. And while being supported by these spears, she resists gravity and can shift her body posture at will. In other words, she can achieve high-speed flight similar to that of an OTSUTSUKI. Now, this isn't some groundbreaking news, but I feel it's definitely important to note since this does affect her overall speed and agility. So her physical ability did get a big buff from this, and overall it just offers her better movement. So this MS ability is up there with Kamui when it comes to increasing the overall strength of a character. It's just one of those broken abilities that can take a character almost 2 tiers up in terms of power amongst the other strong characters in the series. Now, I said I was going to get into Daemon vs Sarada a bit, because I really never got to harp on that matter. Currently in the story, Sumire and Sarada are being held in a rough situation by Ada and Daemon. After Ada found out that they weren't affected by omnipotence, Daemon sprung into action in defense of his sister. I do think that Ada will call Daemon off, so there might not be a fight, but I do think this would hurt the overall trust that Ada had in both Sarada and Sumire, because they did lie to her multiple times that they were affected when they clearly weren't, which might tell Ada that they lied for a reason. Maybe they had an ulterior motive, so there's suspicion there. But right before Daemon grabbed them by the neck, Sarada was about to try and do something to Daemon, but before she could, he grabbed onto her. So whatever she tries to do will just be reflected back onto her. Even thinking about hurting him would yield the same result. And Sarada was there listening in when Ikemoto explained his ability, so she should have surface level understanding on how his ability works. And she might even think back to it come chapter 27. So I don't think she'll make any abrupt decisions that could backfire on her, because if she uses Ohirume now, all that'll happen is her getting pulled into the orb herself, because that's what her attack being reflected would look like. Or even an explosion. Let's say if she was able to pull Daemon into the orb, she wouldn't be able to blow it up because that would end up hurting her instead. Or even trying to pin him down using immense gravity. It would still reflect back onto her. So this ability yet again is a slave to a superior Shinjutsu. And with Daemon's speed, she most likely wouldn't even be able to get this ability to activate in any normal setting. So I guess you guys already guessed it, but she's gonna lose this fight. But like I said, Ada's gonna call it off anyway. She still thinks of her as a friend, and as someone who yearns for genuine friends who don't only like her because her power forces them to, she won't just let them be killed so easily. But overall, I can see why Sarada awakening her MS was among Kashin Koji's most important events, because as strong as she is now, she will definitely be of help in a future battle against Jura. She can shift the tide of the future with this power, and Sasuke as well as Koji confirms it. But unfortunately, Yodo did have to die for it to happen, which was also confirmed again in volume 6. So if there was any people out there who doubted her death, then Ikemoto just doubled down on it. She's gone for good. The rest of the new content that was in the volume was just these new fan art by Ikemoto. At first, I'm not gonna lie, and I do think this is funny, but I did think these characters were gonna mean something further down the road. But it looks like it's just a redrawing of fan art, according to some people online and some translators, which is disappointing because I did try to translate the text beside it to learn more about the characters, but the text was slightly cut off on the screenshot. They do look like they will be cool villains. I'm just a fan of Ikemoto's art. I have to say, the way he draws characters is top notch, and it's unique, so it's easily distinguishable. But as of volume 6, that's more or less all the new info we got specifically on Sarada's Ohirume power. Now, after watching this video, do you have a better understanding on how the ability works? Also, do you think it's more overpowered now? Because I certainly do. I don't think it's more broken and hacky than Kamui, but it ranks at the top when it comes to pure destructive power. And I believe it's perfect for Sarada's character, who fights mainly using brute force and greatly relies on her strength. But let me know what you guys think down below. What impressed you the most? Was it her new flying ability, or the fact that she can change the size and density of the orbs? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. And remember, if you enjoyed this video and don't mind seeing more like this in the near future, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss another video like this or when I go live for chapter spoilers. And until my next one, I'll see you boys and girls later, and I'm out. Peace.